Chapter 12 Among the Hidden. Harvest came. Matthew and Mark stayed out of school to help Dad bring the crops in, the three of them working some days from dawn until midnight. Mother's factory got busier too, and she began working 2 or 3 hours of overtime every day. She brought up a store of food to Luke's room so he wouldn't get hungry while they were all away. There, she said cheerfully, lining up boxes of crackers and bags of fruit. This way you won't even miss us. Her eyes begged him not to complain. Uh-huh, he said, trying to sound game. I'll be fine. He watched the sports family's house only sporadically now. What other proof did he need? What good did it do to him to know about the third child too? What did he expect? That the other kids would run out in his backyard and yell, "Hey Luke, come out and play." He munched his solitary apples and he ate his crackers alone. And in despite of himself, a crazy idea grew in his mind. Sporadically, new details daily. What if he sneaked into the sports family's house and meet their child? He could do it. It is possible. Theoretically, he spent entire days plotting his route. He'd be hidden by bushes and the barn through much of his yard. It was only about 6 feet from there to the nearest tree in the sports family's backyard. He could crawl on his stomach. Then he'd be hidden by the fence the sports family shared with the bird-brain family. All those bird houses might actually help. After that, it was only 3 steps to the sports family's house. They had a sliding glass door at the back, and on warm days, they'd been leaving it open with just a screen. He could go in there. Would he dare? Of course he wouldn't, but still. The first time he looked out the fence and saw maple leaves shot through the shades of red and yellow, he panicked. He needed those leaves to hide him on his way to the sports family's house. If he waited too long, the leaves wouldn't be gone. He began waking up every morning in the cold sweat, thinking, maybe today, do I dare? Just thinking about it made his stomach feel funny. It rained 3 days in a row in early October, and he was almost relieved because that meant he couldn't go on those days. Didn't even have to think about going. He couldn't risk leaving footprints in the mud, and Dad and Matthew were in the way, hanging around houses and the barn, grumbling because they couldn't get into the field. Finally, the rain stopped, and the fields dried up, and Dad and Matthew and Mark went back to their combined and trackers, acres away from the house. The backyard and the sports family's backyard were dry too, and it was warm again. The sports family left their sliding door open. The rain hadn't knocked all the leaves off the backyard trees, but the next rain probably would. On the 3rd morning after the rain, Luke's stomach churned, and he sat on his porch watching the neighbors empty out. He knew without a question today. Not the neighbor empty out. He knew without question that today was the day he'd have to go. If he ever intended to, he couldn't wait until spring. He wouldn't be able to stand it. He watched 28 people leave in 8 cars and 1 school bus. Hands trembling, he made scratches on the walls again and recounted 1, twice, 3 times. 28. Yes, 28. Yes, 28. The magic number. He could hear the blood pounding in his ears. He moved in the dance, off his porch, down the stairs, into the kitchen, and then out the back door.